First of all, I want to thank you for purchasing products from carterscripts.com, formerly known as the webscriptstore.com. In this video, we're going to be looking at the news downloads, the Fox News, the NPR News, the CBC News, and the sports news. First, let me preface by saying I am in no way affiliated with any of these organizations. They provide podcast news, which you can go and download yourself and add them to your station. The products that I created were designed to automate that process, because if you're like me, I do have a life. And some of these update every hour. I can't log in or be sitting here downloading these news bites every hour. So I created software to do that for me. All right. So when you purchase any of these, after your purchase is complete, PayPal is going to send you back over to the thank you page or the order received page. You're going to see links to the downloads. And you're also going to, as you keep scrolling down, each one of these has the license key for those softwares that have a license key. So since we're going to be looking at the news software, that's what we're going to deal with today. Now, not only will you be taken to this page to download and get the license key, you're also going to get an email, and in that email will be also the license key for each software that requires it. And that's for any of the software on this website. All right. So when you download the software, they normally come in zip file formats. And what I'm about to show you, the process is the same for all of them. But I'm going to do Fox News. I'll just quickly show you. Now, in Windows 10, either you're going to use an unzipping or zipping program like 7-Zip, WinZip. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to extract those files. It's the same for all of them. It's going to create a folder with the exact same name, just depending on the WinZip program or unzipping program. So as you can see, I'm doing the exact same thing because the same steps works for all of them. But we're going to be looking at the Fox News. So I'm going to go into the Fox News, and all of them will have an installer in it. So I'm going to install this program. So I'm going to click. And all of them will have the same screen where you put in your name, email address, and that key, license key that came with it. Okay, so I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste that key in there, and I'm going to hit next. And it's going to go and activate it from our servers. Once it's activated, you're going to click End User License Agreement. Now here you can choose where you want to install it. Let me give you a word of caution. Do not install this under Program Files or Program Files x86. The reason being is those directories in Windows are heavily secured and protected, and this software actually goes to the web and downloads a file from the web every time it runs. Therefore, it is recommended that you leave it on the C drive, or you can point it to another drive. In this case, I'm going to put mine on my A drive. Okay, and then you're just going to go through the install. Now, if you leave this check, it's going to take you to the page where this video is located. And I'm going to hit finish. Now I'm going to go over to the A drive, and the same steps is for all of the news programs. And I'm going to look for the folder that it created. This is the Fox News downloader. So that's the folder. Inside of that folder, you're going to see here for the Fox News, we got 2 Powell scripts, and we have the download Fox News exe and a playback folder. The first thing I want to do is I want to run this download Fox News, or it may be download NPR News, or download CBC News, or download Sports News. And what I'm checking for is to make sure that it is running. So I'm going to the playback folder, and if you go into the playback folder and right click on it and look at the properties of the file inside, it should have the current date and the current time that you just did this. This lets you know that it is updating. Okay. All right. Now we know that these news and sports minutes, they update every hour. Just like I'm not able to be there every hour to download it manually, I'm not going to be able to be there every hour to double click on that file to download it. So how do we do this automatically? We're going to use Windows Task Scheduler to run this for us. So let's look for Task Scheduler. Okay. So we're going to open this up, and we're going to use Windows Task Scheduler to run this software for us every hour. So over here, I'm going to select Task Schedule Library. I'm going to select that, because if you select local, you can still do it. But we're going to check the library, and we want to click on Create Task. Do not click on Create Basic Task. Click on Create Task. And everything we're doing here, the same applies for the NPR, Fox, CBC, Sports News, and other programs that I have. I try to make my programs simple and make the setup as close to the same thing as possible. So since I'm working on the Fox News, I'm going to name this. I'm going to name what this thing is going to be doing, because all my software does is download the news for you. That's all it does. At the bottom, we're going to check the last 4 checkable items, and we're going to select our current operating system. Then we're going to set up our trigger. Now, because they update the news and the sports news and the Fox News and NPR News every hour, this trigger, we're going to set this trigger to run every hour. So we're going to click on New. When that comes up, it's already set for on the schedule, so keep it on that. We're going to click on Daily, because this happens every day. I'm going to recommend that, depending on when you do the news, it really doesn't matter, but I'm going to recommend 30 minutes after the hour. That gives them enough time to get the news in and update it. Some people update the news right after the top of the hour. Some people update it a few minutes after. So I recommend 30 minutes after. So 30 minutes after, you don't have to worry about what the current time is or the current date. Okay, just you want it to run 30 minutes after the hour. Down here, we're going to say we want to repeat this. And like I said, since it updates every hour, we're going to repeat it every hour. And we want it to be indefinitely, meaning never stop. So that's our trigger. Every day, 30 after the hour, every hour. So this says 7:30. When I did this video at 8:30, this will run, or 8:39. If you want to be technical, you can, okay. So at 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, every 30 minutes, this trigger will trigger. What is it going to trigger? That's what we're going to set up next. So on the next tab, we want to click on action. Now the action is what it is we want to do every hour, 30 minutes after the hour. So we're going to click on new. We're only interested in starting a program. So leave it on start a program. Now we're going to click on the browse button and go to where we have installed that particular program. So since we're doing the Fox News, I'm going to go and I installed it on the A drive. I'm going to go to the A drive into the Fox News downloader folder, and I'm going to select that file that says download Fox News. If you were doing NPR, you would go to the NPR folder and select download NPR news. If you was doing CBC, same thing. You would go to wherever you installed it, go to that folder, and you're going to select the exe file. If you don't see the exe file, it's going to be the download whatever .exe. Same with the sports news. The download the sports news thing is what you're going to do. And we're going to select that file, the application file, and hit open. Now, pay attention to this part. On some systems, you will have quotations, double quotes at the beginning and at the end and at the beginning. Make sure that's in there. I'm also going to recommend that you copy from the drive letter, which in my case is A, with your case it might be C, to the end of the folder. We don't need the file. We just need the drive letter and the folder of where this is located at. I'm going to copy that, and where it says start in, I'm going to paste it right there. Okay. So basically I'm telling it to run this file in this folder, and I'm telling it, look in this folder. Sometimes if you don't put that in there, it doesn't run properly. Okay. Then I'm going to click OK. That's all we need to set. We don't need any conditions. We don't need any settings. That's all we need to set, and we hit OK. So now that should be in our list. Okay. Now, before I go any further, I want to test to make sure this is running. So you could do this. I'm going to go to that playback folder, and I'm going to delete it. Okay. Then I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to highlight the task scheduler that we just created, and I'm going to select run. Okay. You should see that playback folder should come back. Okay. And when you look in that folder, you should see your Fox News, your NPR News, or your CBC News, or your Sports Minute inside of that folder. So now we know that the task scheduler is working good. Everything is great. Now, SAM Broadcast users, here we go. I'm going to launch my SAM Broadcaster. This is in a very old version of SAM Broadcaster, but the process is exactly the same. All Sam them did was they changed the look of it, but basically SAM is the same it's been for decades. They added a few new features, but for the most part, it's basically the same thing. All right. In SAM, you have 3 desktops, desktop A, B, and C. If you do not see the Powell script window on any of these, and this is what the Powell script window looks like right here. If you don't see it on any page or any of these desktop setups, all you have to do is go up here to Window and select the Powell scripts window. This is called the Powell scripts window. Okay. The first thing I want to do is I want to create a folder for the NPR News. So I am going to go to the playlist. If you don't see the playlist, just go to Window and select Playlist. And it will appear. The purpose of this desktop A, B, and C is so that you can customize each to do certain features. Okay. For me, my SAM is for when I'm going stuff I need when I'm doing live, and B and C is just for different things. Like for B, I might have my encoders, my events, my statistic relays, and C, I might have my playlist or whatever when I want to work. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my desktop A. It doesn't matter which one it is. Now, a lot of people make their folders under this playlist. I'm gonna recommend you don't do that. You can, but I'm gonna recommend you don't. What you want to do is you want to make sure you double click on this content star, because it has built-in pre-made master categories. One for music, one for sound effects, station IDs, jingles, promos, advertisements, news, interviews, and others. So I'm going to go to the news master category. Okay. Already I have an NPR news folder in here. I got a couple of them in here. So let me just take them out real quick. And let's just take them out. As you can see, you would do them all the same. So what I want to do under this news category is just highlight the word news. You can't do it from the news all. So you got to highlight the actual word news. You can right click and hit new. And I'm going to type in Fox News, because that's what I'm doing. Fox News. Okay. So I have Fox News folder. Now I'm going to highlight that folder, and I want to go and add from the playback folder of my installation. I want to add that Fox News MP3 to this category. So I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to click on the plus, and I'm going to say add files. And I'm going to browse to where that playback folder is located. For me, it's on my A drive, and it's inside the Fox News downloader folder. And in there is the playback folder. And there it is, the Fox News MP3 file. Okay. At this point, you can edit this to say what you want it to say. So I'm going to right click on it, go to song info, and you can change this to say whatever it is you want to say. Okay. Now that I have the file in that folder, I'm going to do all this from this same window. So I'm going to pull up the Powell script window. Okay. That's the Powell script window. Now what I need to do is I need to add one of those Powell scripts that came with the program. You got two. You got an hourly and a scheduled. If you're like me and you got different programs and you don't want the news to interrupt that pre-recorded program, then use the scheduled Fox News Powell script. If you don't have anything that you don't mind getting cut off, then you can run the hourly Fox News. The difference is the hourly Fox News, every hour at the time we designate inside of the Powell script, whatever's going on is going to get faded down so that the news can start on time. The scheduled one allows you to set up a schedule using the event scheduler to run the Fox News during the hours you want it to run. Because maybe you have a live show and you don't want that interrupted. Maybe you have a pre-recorded show that you're playing and you don't want that interrupted. So it will be best to use the scheduled Fox News. I'm going to start with the hourly, and then I'll show you how to do the schedule. So I'm going to start with the hourly. I'm going to add that. Now, again, how do you add that? From the Powell script window, click on the plus sign. This window is going to come up. This right here will let you browse to your Powell scripts, no matter what kind of Powell script it is. Now, the hourly, because it runs every hour, you can select automatically start this script. What this means is if you shut your computer down, or if you shut down Sam Broadcaster, you turn it back up, turn it back on, it would automatically make sure this Powell script is running. All right, so I'm gonna click OK. Now that it's in there, you see it's at the bottom of the list. I'm gonna double click on it. It's got some information in there. So this is what is going on in here. You got this line that says waiting until 55 after. You can change this 55 to 15 after, 20 after. Leave the XX because the XX means any hour. The 55, you can do the minutes or the seconds. This is set for 55 after. This means when this runs, it's going to stop and wait until 55 after. Here's something that's very important. Down here where it says cat, see it has the word Fox space news. Make sure the category that you created under news matches that. See, I have over here under the news category, I created a category called Fox space news. Make sure it matches that in here. Since I did that, all I have to do is hit run. There's nothing I need to do in the Powell script. And it's running. Now you see it said it's waiting for 7:55. Okay. What's going to happen is at 7:55, it's going to load that Fox News file into the queue and play it immediately. Okay. That's all you have to do in Sam Broadcaster when you're using the hourly news. So let me show you what happens. See if I can get some audio going here.
How do we emphasize this?
Well, look, the most important thing starts with parenting. Talking to young people constantly about the need to be focused on education. To do the second thing,
let's get some music in here.
Great teachers in the classroom. Well,
every time I think about, every time I pray about, every time I shout about, every time.
All right. For the sake of this video, I am going to modify this Powell script to run much sooner. It's currently 23 after. Let me stop the Powell script. I'm going, I want to edit it. Oh, sorry, it's 29 after. So let me do 30 and 30. I'm going to compile it and I'm going to say file save and hit run. So it's waiting on 30:30. It's already 30, it's 30:15. Now you see the song that's playing. Here we go.
Anger and hurt.
All right, you see what that did? Okay. It will, whatever's playing, it'll automatically fade it down and it will reset itself for the next hour. Now it's waiting for the next hour to play the news and Sam. However, our task scheduler that we set up, it's going to download the news at 30 after in the next hour so we can get the latest updated news. Okay. What about the scheduled Powell script? All right. So let me go and get the scheduled Powell script. It does the same thing. The only difference is you got an extra step. You do not select automatically start the script. Okay. All right. So it's in there. I'm going to double click on it because I have to make sure that the category name in here is exactly the same as the one that I created. So it's Fox space news. Okay. This one requires the event scheduler in Sam Broadcaster. So If you don't see it, let's bring it up real quick. Event scheduler. Bring it to the front right here. All right. So to create an event, you click on this plus sign. You give the event any name you want. I'm going to call it Play Fox News. That way I know what it is. And because we already have a Powell script to do everything, we're going to select execute a Powell script. Now it's different in version 4. In version 4, you'll see that information over here. All right, so I selected execute Powell script. Now I'm going to click on this folder and I'm going to browse. I'm going to the Fox News downloader folder and I'm going to select the scheduled Fox News Powell script. Okay. In this older version, you have the event action, then you have the times. So here's where you can say what day and time. Maybe you don't want it every day. Maybe you don't want it every hour. Maybe you only want the news to come on Mondays at 7:40. We're going to use 7:40 because that's close to the time. Maybe you only want to do it Mondays at 7. Maybe you want to do it again at 9. Maybe you want to go earlier than that. Maybe 5 p.m. Okay. So you have a lot of flexibility. Maybe you just want it on, maybe you want Friday. So you see, as you can see, you got all kinds of flexibility when you use the scheduler. And so as you can see, as I'm adding these every Monday at 7:40 p.m., it's going to play the Fox News. Every Monday at, I got that in there twice, it looks like. Every Monday at 5:40 p.m., it's going to play the Fox News. All right, so you can be really flexible when you use the scheduled one. Let me see. It is almost 7:35, almost 7:36. So let's do 7:36 and 30. Get that in there so that you can see this operate.
Now, let me say this.
Let me get something in here. Okay, that don't want to play. All right, so in 30 seconds, this event will run. And when it runs, it's going to run this scheduled Fox News Powell script. And whatever's playing, it's going to fade it down so that the Fox News can play. So you got a couple of things happening here. Here we go. All right.
Anger and hurt.
All right. So you got a couple of things happening here. Number one, the download tool that you got from the store does the process of downloading whatever it is that you purchase, whether it's the Fox News, CBC News, NPR News, Sports News, or any other podcast or anything like that. It handles downloading it for you. The Windows Task Scheduler is how you program when to download the news. And then in SAM, you have a Powell script that runs the news, that plays the news. Okay. So you got a lot of different things that are independent of each other. They do not rely on each other per se. But they work together to make the whole thing happen. I hope this has been helpful. A lot of people wanted me to be a little bit more in depth, so that's why the video turned out to be kind of long, about how to set up NPR News, Fox News, CBC News, or the Sports Minute. It's the exact same way for all of those. Okay? Instead of naming it Fox News over here, you would name it, you can name it whatever you want, because inside of the Powell script, where it says cat in between the quotes, that just has to match whatever you call this category over here, whatever you made, whether it's sports news, CBC News, Fox News, or NPR News. Just make sure that they match. If they do not match, it will not load. Everything may be running perfectly, but it will not load or will not play the news. So the Powell script plays the news. My download tool actually goes and downloads it for you. And Windows Task Scheduler actually is set up to run my download tool. Got any questions? Please comment below. I think you have to be a member to comment, or comment on my YouTube, Roderick's. This will go under, I guess, Roderick Sam Broadcaster Tutorials. All right. Thank you, guys. Hope this has helped.